CBC family, Pastor Ed here. As we talk about Regathering, July 11th and 12th, we believe it's going to be a historic day for all of us. Now I know concerning the conversation of Regathering, there are two particular groups. One group going, Ed, why did it take so long? And the other group that's going, Ed, I don't think it's just the right time. For those of you that feel uncomfortable or maybe possibly have questions concerning Regathering, we would love to encourage you once more with online church. We believe that God's been using this platform, uniting us all across the nation and even more so closely here in our own city. And so as we talk about Regathering, this is what's going to look like and feel like as we talk about coming back to this Gold Canyon campus. But before we begin, let me remind you that we have 4 service options. Saturday at 5, Sunday 9, 11, and 1 p.m. That is 2 simultaneous worship gatherings, one taking place in Maine and the other taking place in Central. And as we talk about these 2 simultaneous worship experiences, we believe that we'll be able to accommodate the needs of those that seek to come back onto this campus. But before we begin, we want to start in the parking lot, preparing us for this journey. So would you be willing to take a journey with me right here, right now going to the parking lot? Follow me. Now, thank you for joining me here in Parking Lot A. You may recognize this Parking Lot A. We're shifting this, that is to make this our first time guest parking. Here's the reason why that's important, because we want to continue to have a hospitable expression of our thanksgiving and love for all those that God's entrusted to us. And therefore, based upon this aerial view, you'll now be able to see what we have deemed and dedicated as our first time visitor parking space right here in Parking Lot A. Join me as we go to the next parking lot. Well, now that we're on the golf carts that many of you have experienced in the past. Now, one of the things that we're going to do to make sure that we are operating in social distance, the middle row on the golf cart will not be available. And the other thing that's really bad news right now, those donut holes that all of you love, not going to be available for a while. As we travel on the parking lot, we'll wipe down every golf cart after every use, making sure that your safety and your concern is at the highest priority. Now we're in the space that typically has been deemed as our first time visitor parking space in combination with our handicap parking space. One of the things that we want to do, being thoughtful for all people, especially those who have special needs to get into a facility at convenience, we want to expand our handicap parking space in this area, making it more convenient for those that need an easy access point into our facility. Let me give you this aerial view so you know what I'm talking about. Now, as we begin to approach the facility, it's very important that you know that we have 11 entrances and exits, all of which are strategic in regards to where you're seeking to go to. Now, if you are a parent that's dropping off one of your precious kids into our child care ministry, that is for the time being, which will be from birth to 9 months, this will be our nursery, we would encourage you to notice what would be the most advantageous entrance for you to come into to get your kid checked in, or kids, by the way, checked into our child care space. But if you are an 11 o'clock attender or a 1 o'clock attender, here's what we're asking, just the limit, that is the pass by between our main entrances and exits. That is, if you are attending the 11 o'clock service or the 1 o'clock service, would you wait till about 15 to 20 minutes prior to the service time before you begin to make your way into the facility? Here's the reason why. We want to give ample time to our cleaning crew to make sure that we have the facility clean for your arrival. Now, as we begin to walk towards the doors here at CBC, I want you to notice a few things.
Welcome to CBC.
Friendly, that's what I wanted you to notice. That is, there'll be a touchless exchange of hospitality and kindness and courtesy. That is, nobody will seek to shake your hands. I know for many of you, you're like, Ed, the moment they reach out, it makes me feel uncomfortable. And so for us, we're asking that each and every greeter would just simply wave and blink as passionately as possible. Here's the reason why. Every volunteer, every staff member will be required to wear a mask. Now, one of the questions that we have been asked, are you making masks mandatory for those that are attending CBC worship gathering? The answer is no. Now, you have to understand that for us as a people, you know that we are a church for all people, from all walks of life. It's not about what you wear, it's not about what you drive, it's not about what you do as a profession. It's not in regards to anything that gives you your worth and value except for Jesus Christ. And our culture, that is, our culture is uplifting, our culture is empowering, our culture is accepting. And so I realize that there is such a polarizing conversation of wearing a mask, not wearing a mask. My hope and encouragement would be this, that the one thing that we would not allow to come into this facility is shaming someone else for wearing a mask or not wearing a mask. Here's the reason why. Because we want to do everything we can to be inviting, but yet safe and cautious as well. Now let me walk through a couple of things that I want to highlight even in this lobby space. Number one, hand sanitizing stations will be strategically placed inside our facility. Number two, free masks will be made available in case one is desired. Now those CBC masks will be available for purchase in our bookstore. Signage is located throughout our facility, encouraging social distancing, covered coughing and sneezing, frequent hand washing, and counsel for anyone who may be feeling ill to stay home and watch us online. Coffee bars and snack items will be temporarily discontinued, and listener guides will be offered online for download each week for your participation at communitybible.com prior to our weekend services. Also, one of the values of our church is that we seek to come alongside of people no matter the situation that they face. CBC Cares will be made available for counseling, and also CBC Connects for guest services or any other questions that anyone may have during their time and experience here at CBC. Now, our giving kiosk will be monitored and cleaned after every personal encounter. Also, our restrooms will be monitored for a limited number of people inside each restroom, and they will be cleaned in between each and every service. Now, speaking of cleaning, our staff and volunteers will be working for your safety before and after every service, cleaning our facility with commercial cleaning supplies. Also, we have contracted with a recognized sanitation company by the name of Disinfects that guarantees its work with commercial grade ingredients. They guarantee their work up to 90 days. However, we are not just doubling down, we're tripling down to take an extra precaution, and therefore we will use our company called Disinfects every 30 days to make sure we are doing our due diligence to provide a clean and safe facility. We also want to encourage you to bring your own wipes for your own comfort in wiping down your seat if you feel necessary to do so. Now, as we make our way towards our worship center and central gathering space, I want to tell you a couple more things. Now we're standing in our worship center. That is, we will have two simultaneous worship experiences. One here in Maine, our main worship center, and also Central, where we do kids' church. But we will be having a family-style worship experience. Now, what is a family-style worship experience? That is, we're encouraging all our kids to come with their moms and dads. That is, if you have children from birth to 9 months, we encourage you to use our nursery space. But as we come into this space, our worship center here has an occupancy of 3,500 seats, but per the governor's ordinance, we will be limiting that to 50%, which means that's 1,750 seats available. Now, as you walk into this space, our greeters, which by the way, we got the best that we could find. They're the swiftest, the fastest, and the most strategic. That is to be able to sit you in this space with your family and your friends while still creating social distancing. So as we talk about our 4 service times, Saturday at 5, Sunday at 9, 11, and 1, our Saturday at 5 will have interpretation for the hearing impaired, Saturday at 5. Sunday at 11 will be interpretation in Spanish for those that may desire to hear it in their native tongue. Now, as we think about the significance of our ability to be able to have simultaneous worship experience, walk with me. One of the things that you need to know is as I walk up on stage and interact with our amazing worship band, this amazing worship band will also have another amazing worship band in the other space that we call Central. But as I walk on the stage, the reason why this is important is because I want to show you how we're going to exit. One of the questions I've been getting is how are we going to dismiss from this space? I'm so glad you asked that question. So I tried not to trip right there. I'm an athlete, ladies and gentlemen. But as we talk about gathering in this space, first of all, can I give a shout out to Pastor Phil? What's up, my man?
What's
and
up?
Alina and the team. And so they will be leading worship in this space. And we'll also have another worship team in Central. Simultaneously, they'll be linked up. How cool is that? Same song, same set, same spirit. And you may never know which room I'm going to be preaching in. As we talk about exiting after the service, I would encourage you to go out this exit. Here's the reason why. You can go right out those doors into the A parking lot and walk around the facility, limiting the exchange of other people. Now, once more, if you're sitting on this side of the facility, there's another exit space for you to walk out of, and it goes in that direction. As you're walking out these doors, understand that you can actually go out of the building. There's not an entrance point there, it's just an exit point. So if you're leaving this facility, you can walk outside, around by the portables, and that will take you to parking lot D and E. Now, if you're sitting in the center space and up in the mezzanine, once more, it is at your discretion. You can walk out of these exits to my left and my right, or your right and left as you're looking at the stage, or you can walk out the main exits at the front. And as we exit out, we're encouraging once more social distancing. Now walk with me as we go to Central and basically just repeat all of this, so follow me. Now we're standing at one of the locations in our main worship center that, to be honest with you, I personally love. It's CBC culture. Jump up, slap the banner, we are CBC, CBC are we. We're not discouraging you from doing that. We just ask you to be creative in how you do that. That is, you can still jump up and, let's just say, fake like you're slapping the banner. Let me give you a demonstration. Kind of like one of these deals, like I'm touching it, but not touching it, or jumping up and slapping it and not really slapping it. We still want to be us, all right? So in a season of just trying to figure out the new normals, let's still be us. Let's just be a little bit more cautious and careful. Let's walk towards Central right now. Now, I know we said we're going to go to Central, but I had to stop right here and just say, first of all, thank you for being a church that believes in what we're doing. And so many of the questions that have been asked, are we still going to do the offering box? One of the cool, convenient ways that we have already done the offering is we don't pass plates unless we're doing something crazy out of radical generosity. But we'll still have our offering boxes. Notice, by the way, hand sanitizing station. They'll be everywhere across our facility. But also, these giving boxes will still be made available. We'll even wipe down those things because we want your safety to be our number one concern. Now, as we walk this way, let's see if we can keep rolling for just a second. We're walking this way, and as we walk down this hallway space, once more, we're trying to be mindful. Social distancing, we still want to be us. We still want to have the community spirit of our church. But notice this. This is what I was talking about earlier. Coffee bars and our space in which we typically feed people. This will be temporarily discontinued for a while. It'll come back, hopefully, Lord Jesus, soon, because you know we got some of the best coffee in the country. I don't know how that happens. Like, it's right here in this space. I mean, line upon line between services. So don't be mad at us. We're just seeking to once more put your safety and concern at the forefront of every decision that we make. Now, as we begin to walk into this space, notice our greeters, much like the front door and also going into our worship center, are wearing masks. Every volunteer, every staff member will be required to wear a mask. They will not seek to shake hands or knuckle bump. They will seek to just be friendly and kind, to let you know that you are welcome here. It's a touchless experience. That's what we're hoping for. But as we walk into this space and place, I want you to notice something as soon as we walk in. This space is already socially distant. That is, these chairs are strategically numbered to the capacity of 500 people. Our greeters that we'll have will be rock stars. They're going to begin to get you in the right space and place, creating social distance on either side. And so they're going to do it in a kind way, of course. But notice how these rows are already spaced. I believe it's important that you see the difference between what's available in the worship center, of which we cannot rip up each and every row. We're going to do that with our greeters, but in this space we can already do that, and I hope this begins to now put into perspective why we're going to be using both of these particular spaces for our worship experience. Now follow me. We want to say thank you for making the journey with us. I know there are a lot of questions that possibly have been unanswered. Can I say it was not intentional? It's simply for this purpose that we've put this video together, just to give you a little texture and feel of what it's going to look like as we regather July 11th and 12th. Now, the reason why we're finishing the video here in this lobby space, because if the occupancy of our worship center and the occupancy of Central, that is, we exceed that and therefore we now have an overflow situation, our lobby space will be dedicated to overflow. Not just our lobby space, but also the south end of our coffee bar will be set up specifically and strategically to accommodate any type of overflow, because we don't want to turn anybody away. Matter of fact, we even made contingency plans. Our choir room and also our E209 facility that's in our education building will be our contingency plan, just in case there are more people than the actual rooms can contain. So we know this to be true, that this is our heart. We don't want to turn anybody away. So we've made all these plans, all these efforts, but we have to just continue to be flexible and fluid. That's the number one principle. Could we just understand that, hello, we've never walked through a global pandemic before. We've never been in a situation before where we had to think about regathering back on a campus with all these protocols and all these procedures. So we really could use some grace. We're going to do the best we can with what we have. We're going to give information that will hopefully allow the comfort level to begin to rise in your heart going, okay, I'm ready. But if you're not ready, could you hear this today? We're not going to pressure you. We're not going to shame you. We're not going to make you feel bad for not coming. Continue to meet onlinechurch.com. Even begin to experience community in your community groups. And remember we talked about CBC House Church? We believe also it's a both and strategy here on this campus and doing house churches across the city and across the state and across the globe. So as we talk about regathering, we're excited about July 11th and 12th. Be praying for us, and we'll be praying for you as well. But I got one last announcement I cannot wait to share with you, and we have to hear this because this is exciting news. Now, the announcement I cannot wait to tell you about is actually about what's behind me. It's called Emmett Park. But hold up, we're not ready for that announcement. Till we meet again, much love.